Let me bring in my guests. I am joined with the man himself, Ted Rall. How you doing, Ted? You doing okay this morning?
I'm okay. How are you doing, Jamal?
I am doing fine. I had got a letter, not a letter. I got a response from a tweet that I put out, and guess who it was from? Mayor Adams' office.
Oh yeah.
It seemed to be either his campaign or his office.
Is he offering? Is he asking? Was he soliciting a bribe?
I don't know. So I responded. I don't know if you've seen this picture of Mayor Adams, because I was like, what the hell is this? And when I said, what the hell is this? Okay, when I said, what the hell is this? Somebody on his team responded and said something here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This picture, I don't know if you've seen this. This is your mayor, Mayor Adams.
God help us.
And my response was, what the hell is this?
Oh my.
Yeah, oh my, oh my, oh my indeed.
Oh my.
Oh my indeed.
Okay then. Wow.
I didn't know what was going on with this picture, Ted. I didn't know what was going on with this picture. and so I, being a bit snarky, was like, I think I said, what the hell is this? Or something like that.
Good question.
I think it's a damn good question. And I got this response. Oh, where is it? Where is it?
You know what it looks like? Did you ever see, I don't know if they have these outside of New York, but the black Israelites on the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah. They must be in other cities, but in New York, you see them from time to time, like in places like the subway and Times Square and so on. They wear outfits that are a little bit reminiscent of that.
Okay, so this is the response that I got. I was like, oh, Ted is going to love this. So, City Desk, New York City. And they responded directly to me. And they said, Adams is delivering affordable housing, reduced shootings, and upgrade. Right. Adams is delivering affordable housing, reduced shootings, and upgrading NYCHA.
That's known as NYCHA, just so you know, here in New York.
It's called NYCHA. Okay.
NYCHA, which, by the way, that's the New York City Housing Authority. That's public. That's the public entity that's the government entity that does public housing, like the projects.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
By the way, NYCHA is not being upgraded. Okay, but whatever. Okay.
Well, it's just his actual results, while Mamdani's DSA circus chums out anti-Semitic rallies, rent freezes fantasies, and Gaza cosplay. Adams isn't perfect, but he's the firewall against activists who would turn New York City into nonprofit-run asylum. Mamdani, he'd replace New York City with community liaisons, bankrupt landlords, and rent strikes, and hand Okuni to Hamas apologists.
Yeah,
Adams keeps the lights on. Mamdani is too busy lighting fires. Choose functional city or socialist high-task governance. I responded to that.
Okay.
And I said something to the effect of, I said, you realize I have friends that live in New York City, and I've covered Adams for years. If he was actually doing those things, he wouldn't have lost the primary to a socialist that actually is a true believer in doing the things that you've enumerated. I will give Adams credit, though. He has some smooth dance moves at the club.
Yes, he does. That's true. His closet is a closet that Rudy Ray Moore would covet.
Totally might. Way down in the jungle deep. The lion stepped on the signified monkey's feet. Oh God, man, you bring back memories. Yeah. So what? He was going to some kind of Israel thing. I mean, the fact that she brought up Hamas supporter and all of this other stuff from Mamdani. Is that the fight that's taking place in New York City right now? Where it's like, you're a Hamas supporter, you're a genocide supporter.
There is no fight. It's already Mayor-elect Mamdani. It's over. I mean, it's over. And one of the ways I like to sort of consider questions like this is, let's look at the counterfactual. Let's say you and I got offered $1 million to go and try to get, Mayor Adams reelected. I mean, there's no way we could earn that $1 million because there's nothing we could do. I mean, I think even if we could convince him to completely reverse his policies, like, oh, no more bribes, and like we're gonna like focus on the problems of the people and affordability, all that stuff. It's too late. I mean, you know how it is. It's like once the voters turn against you, there's nothing you can do. And he's at 9% in the polls. I mean, honestly, Curtis Sliwa is doing twice as well as he is. So let's put this into perspective. He is literally mayor. The sitting mayor is not even a factor in the mayor's race. He is, if this were a presidential race, he would be like the Citizens Party, or he'd be a rounding error. He's not important. The only two people who are in this race are Mamdani and Cuomo. Cuomo is far behind, well over 20 points behind. Cuomo's not going to catch up. But if anyone could pull this off, it might be Cuomo. Odds are 20-1 against. But with Adams, it's a joke. I mean, he's not going to be reelected. There's no way he can be reelected, even if you want. I mean, there's nothing he can do. So that's not the race. That's not the conversation. I mean, New Yorkers are already talking as if Mamdani is already going to be the mayor.
Really?
It's already over. And now the question now is, well, is he serious about what he says he wants to do? Yeah. And if he is, can he get it done? That's basically the question. And there are some, look, in fairness to critics like Mayor Adams, it is true that we have a serious landlord problem. So the Bronx's burning era of the late 1970s, landlords faced a crisis where basically they were no longer able to collect enough rent to meet their own. They bought buildings, then they couldn't get enough rent from those buildings to pay their own debts to their banks, and so the landlords burned the places down to collect the insurance and walked away, right? And that's why the South Bronx ended up looking like Beirut in the early 80s. And so there is a danger that could happen again, because the system has baked in these massive rent increases. These massive housing increases, and the interest rates on the loans to the landlords has gone up. Yeah. But here's the thing: there was under De Blasio, the former mayor, there was a rent reform law that passed, kind of scarcely noticed, that was meant to crack down on some of the worst abuses of landlords. And one of them is, for example, when a unit comes up for rent, traditionally a landlord could renovate that unit and then increase the rent by a significant, although not massive, amount in order to cover the costs of the improvement. Now that's no longer true. The landlord has to just eat those, and the rent stabilization rate stays the same and increases just by a few percentage points every year, depending on what the rent stabilization board decides. So the short version of this is expenses for landlords are increasing much faster than their rent rolls are increasing. So landlords legitimately have a problem. This is partly because basically they bought buildings that assumed the old system, and the new system makes those buildings worth less. But they basically bought high before this happened. So I mean, they are in trouble. There are going to be landlords who walk away from all this. I mean, an intelligence system would address distressed landlords as well as distressed tenants, but we don't really have an intelligence system, so that's not. So I think you're going to see a crisis, and it's going to be a building crisis. I mean, I'm the least favorable to landlords person in the world in all of New York City, but I have to be intellectually honest here. There is an issue,
and there's also an issue after COVID, right? Like, if you think of the number of people that started to work from home, like I can just, my ex-wife, she started to work from home. That's a little bit different, but she's working in an office. I don't know what she does now because, of course, she's my ex. I don't talk to her. But she was one of those people that started working remotely. I started working remotely. A lot of people in the office, like in other places, started to work remotely. And so then it becomes, okay, well, why do I have this building? Why do I have this office space? Like, meaning that's going to be an issue also. Like, somebody is going to have to pay for those office spaces that no longer are being used.
Commercial real estate is in
Yes.
huge trouble, and so is the and so are the and same thing with the units that are being warehoused. So 57% of rent stabilized units in the city, that's basically roughly half of the units that are rented to individuals like me, are rent stabilized. Mine's not rent stabilized. I'm market rate. The rent stabilized units, however, are kind of being subsidized by people like me. But half of those units are empty. They're being warehoused because landlords are hoping against hope that the law is going to change back in their favor with a new mayor or a new governor. It's not, but obviously Mamdani is going to be the new mayor. So the warehousing is likely to continue. So you're going to have this, this weird system where landlords are being screwed by not getting enough money from the rent stabilized tenants, and market rate tenants are being screwed because they're paying too much and they're subsidizing the landlords and the rent stabilized tenants. And no one's going to move to New York City anyway, because not only are these costs so high, but on top of that, as you say, like your ex-wife, I mean, you don't need to be in New York City to work on a laptop in your house. Your house can be in rural Wyoming and it's beautiful and you can look out the window and see a bear. And you're like, why would I want to live in New York and look out the window and see a homeless person taking a shit on the middle of the street? That's so it's like that's the difference, right? I mean, and it's all major cities have this problem. I mean, what's the main reason that people move to cities? For jobs. Well, those jobs aren't there. If you don't need to move to a city and fight your fellow commuters and run to lunch and wait in line at the deli, why would you? And people aren't. So the populations of places like New York City and all major cities in the country are going to decline. There's a reckoning coming.
Wow. What's that reckoning's name? Mamdani. Well, at the very least, they think it's.
I hope so. I mean, look, I hate to say it. I think the answer.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. I know what you're going to say. Don't. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
I think the government needs to seize housing through eminent domain. I mean, if housing isn't, I mean, I know NYCHA, the housing authority, has a bad reputation in this city, so maybe you need a different agency to do it. But and it is, running a giant housing project with 20 floors and 10 buildings. That's a different type of work than like running the building that I live in that has 10 floors and 4 units per floor. It's a completely different thing. So, but I do think that, like, look, if a system doesn't work, you have to consider a radically different system. The current system's is failing.
Yeah. Wow. When you told me how much you paid for rent, I nearly fell out my chair. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was paying a ridiculous amount, because in Richmond you might be paying, I don't know, $1,300, and you're in a really nice place. Sounds
great.
Yeah, and you're in a damn good place.
Yeah, I like Richmond.
In DC, I think I was paying $1,900 a month, and I was like, Jesus, how can anybody afford this, right? But then when you're like, I pay $5,000 for rent, it's like, what?
Yeah, and it's not. When I tell people that here, they're like, quit bitching. That apartment should be at least $6,500 or $7,000.
Are you? Oh, Jesus, Ted.
And it's not. Look, if you saw the place, you wouldn't say, "Holy shit, that's luxurious." And I mean, I don't have a balcony. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doorman. It's like it's a buzzer building. It's an old building from 1912. It has some nice features. The kitchen sucks. New York kitchens always suck. But
it's New York, so it has its own character. Let's talk about the Texas shooting. I'm glad you brought that up. Ever since Charlie Kirk was killed, there has been a narrative war that has been taking place. One side of the narrative war, let's say the cultists, people on the right, have made this argument that Charlie Kirk is like Jesus and Malcolm X.
Yeah. And
he should be on the coin or on the dollar or some other currency. And that he was a great man. And left wingers were responsible for his death. That is what
That's
they have
right.
been pushing hard.
Yeah.
So the ICE thing comes up. And by the way,
Oh, and by
apparently,
the way, that they're the only real Americans.
and they're the only real Americans. And they are, when they get together, they are very kind and they're very nice and everything else. Like you point to January 6th and it's like, yeah, that was Antifa. Sure it was, buddy. Now you get this other shooting that took place at the detention center in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
To be very clear, two that I'm aware of, maybe new additional information has come out, but 2 immigrants were killed in that.
Mm-hmm.
The shooter
Can you
ate his
imagine
gun
that? You're being deported by ICE.
and get murdered.
And then you get fucking murdered like while you're being transferred from
Yeah.
one facility to another.
Now, when you hear that, the first thought will be, Jesus, man, like some right winger murdered those guys as a result of the language that Trump has been using is the language that the right has been using.
Mm-hmm.
But the right comes out and says, that was a lefty that was trying to kill ICE agents and was just had bad aim and had wrote anti-ICE slogans on the bullets. Once again, just like the Charlie Kirk thing, where somebody apparently keeps writing their feelings on bullets. And it's like, yeah, dude, but he hit the immigrants, not the agents. Why are you assuming?
And they don't look the same. And then also and then the slogan that was written on the shell casing is not a slogan that an anti-ICE person would normally write. They wrote anti-ICE. That would be like
that's what they wrote on
me putting anti-genocide on a shell casing and firing at someone over Gaza, like, or pro-Gaza. No, you wouldn't say that. You'd say fuck Israel, right?
Yes.
Or free Gaza or something like that. You're not going to say, you're going to say fuck ICE or death to ICE or something like that. You're not going to say, you'll say fuck ICE. That's graffiti you see all over the country. You're not going to say, I don't know. I mean, is it possible that this was, exactly what they say?
That's
sure.
Weird,
but it's weird. I have to admit, I don't believe Kash Patel.
Neither do I.
And I think it smells bad. And, Jamal, I usually don't go down these conspiracy rabbit holes. I think, honestly, I think they fucking I think the FBI wrote that shit on the shell casing.
Agreed. Just like I think they wrote the document where there was like the communication between Charlie Kirk's killer, supposedly, we'll know, I guess, what the stuff washes on trial, where they were like, effectively, the guy admitted to everything. Like, it was just a weird communication. People don't talk that way.
No.
And when they put it in Grok was like, this is obviously a fabricated conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing this. I don't buy it. I agree with you. It's very weird. That sounds like something a cop would do. It's like, hey,
it's like how a cop keeps a spare gun.
Yeah.
Gets involved in a shooting, shoots the dude, and then puts his extra gun in the dude's hand. It's like that.
Yeah. Who writes anti-ICE? Who does that? That is
unless
so bizarre.
The killer was trying to throw off the investigation, but I just don't believe it. I mean, it just doesn't ring true. I mean, granted, the guy was probably crazy, but if you go out to kill 2 people, you go out to kill people, and you're going to kill yourself afterwards, probably, and then you do, you're probably going to try to make it count. And you're not going to be involved in some weird dissemblance. Things are going to be straightforward. Sounds like he saw who he was shooting. I mean,
right.
ICE guys are very distinctive. I mean, they're all masked up and, they're dressed like goons. They have Kevlar. They have those silly outfits that they wear. The immigrants, probably brown people. These are normal, dressed in civilians people. Yeah. So it's easy to distinguish them. I mean, he wasn't fucking blind. He hit them from far away. Yeah. So he's not fucking blind, right?
They're acting like, well, he was obviously a bad shot. It's like, why are you assuming that?
Not that bad.
Like, why are you making that assumption?
He shot 3 people.
Yeah, and he killed, and they just so happened to be of the same ilk, meaning they were all immigrants. Like you may have an argument, right? If he hits an ICE agent and then hits 2 immigrants. Okay, but if he's hitting his targets, it seems that his targets were clearly the immigrants, not the ICE agents. Yeah, it's just very weird that they're coming up with this. Well, there was anti-ICE on the shell cases, so obviously he's working for so and so. Okay, hey, I don't believe you. If
Also,
the guy was a right
obviously,
winger,
you know where okay, so you and I have talked about this before. This is just like, this is the what I call the certainty lie. So, like, if Bush had said, we think there's a chance that Saddam still has WMD, so out of an abundance of caution, we need to go to war. The American people wouldn't have gone along with that. So instead, they said, we know for sure, and we know where they are, and we know for sure. That's the certainty lie, right? Yeah. So, and obviously it was a lie because we went and there weren't any, right? So it had to be a lie. When you say you're sure about something and it turns out not to be true, you lied by definition. And so in this case, it's very similar. This only happened, yesterday and in the morning, right? And when they're already saying, without a doubt, this was a left-wing Antifa domestic terrorist targeting ICE who missed, I call bullshit on your certainty. It could well be exactly what they say. They could be right. It could be all exactly as they say, but they can't be sure. And they should say, like, if they said, like, our current working theory is that this is what's happening, but the investigation continues. We're talking to his, friends and relatives. We're searching the house. We'll let you know when we have more. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you guys are normal investigators. But this, because they're, a bunch of ideologues, people like Kash Patel is an ideologue. You can't believe, I mean, he's not like you and me, even though I'm an ideologue too. But if I were working at the FBI, I'd follow the truth where it took me. Yeah. And if the truth took me to an uncomfortable place, so be it. But that's not the way this administration operates. They never, they express total certainty. The left writ large, the radical left, is pure evil and disgusting. Anyone who voted not for Trump is an evil, anti-American, unpatriotic, unperson, because it's like we don't even exist. And then everyone who voted for Trump is a beautiful, perfect individual who's never done anything wrong and whose feces smell like roses. That's their narrative. It's fucking insane and ridiculous. And even if you're on the right, you should be embarrassed. But that's what they're doing.
But that's what's the cultists. Cultists don't care. No. Like, for example, you have people who complain about censorship. Oh my God, there's so much censorship. Joe Biden and censorship. People who've worked with us, by the way. Well, they didn't work with us, but they were adjacent to us. And then all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk dies. And it's like, we need that list. We need to get these people who are saying bad things about Charlie Kirk. Well, you're going after people who just repeated what Charlie Kirk said over the course of his life. That you feel
also, like, it's like, also, it's kind of like, a discussion I have, like, sort of like when people think that their romantic partner might be cheating, and they're like, and they're going through their phone to look to see if there's anything. Okay, and I always tell them, if you find yourself looking at your partner's phone, even if you find that they were pure as the driven snow, your relationship's over. It's already over because you don't have any trust, and you should just break up, right? Get divorced, whatever. Yeah. Similarly, if you're a government official and you find yourself scrolling X or Instagram looking for posts that people said, like anytime that someone said something mean about Charlie Kirk, that you're cross-referencing that for lists of visa holders and or green card holders that you can deport as a result, you should think to yourself, I'm a Nazi. Yeah. I'm a Nazi. I should wear a swastika armband. I should goose step. I should listen to 1930s German music. I should have a copy of Mein Kampf nearby. I'm a Nazi. That's like, you should check yourself. Like, I'm fucked. This is fucked up. I mean, it's not even like they're reacting to, like, someone sees a post and then they get pissed and then they report it. That's bad enough. But they're literally systematically going through the entirety of American social media, searching for these things and cross-referencing to lists. It's like, dudes, focus on something important. Like, get us the fuck out of Ukraine, rein in Bibi Netanyahu, get us socialized medical care, get us high-speed rail, fucking fix some real shit. Get busy. I mean, quit fucking around. This
That's
is
what
a
I said,
waste of
cultist.
time, and it's stupid.
Yeah, that's why I use the term cultist, because it's
Yeah.
outrageous. It's like you spend all of that time screaming about Joe Biden's censorship, and then you immediately flip
And
when
Joe
somebody
Biden's
says something.
censorship, which you and I talked about from a
Yes,
position of integrity from the left,
yes,
was disgusting. And we
yes,
were angry when they did it to right wingers.
yes.
Well,
We were honest actors.
it would be nice to have the favor returned, fuckers.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. Ted, thank you for this. And I
Thank
agree
you.
with you wholeheartedly on the Texas thing. I'm very skeptical of this administration because they're ideologues. And I don't think they care about truth. The administration is
No.
full of habitual liars and sycophants. And Trump has been banging this hammer about immigrants and immigrants and immigrants. And so it's like, okay, well, is it more likely that somebody listened to that and went and murdered 3 immigrants? Or is it more likely that a rando goes out and shoots at the ICE agents and misses all of the bullets, and they just so happen to hit the immigrants? It's like, okay, well, dude, you've been running this constant stream of consciousness about hatred of immigrants. Somebody took you up on it, and then ate his gun at the very end of it.
Jamal, don't forget, this was a sniper situation, right? So he had time to set up his shot. It wasn't spontaneous. He laid in wait. So, it's unlikely. The wrong shot, the wrong target theory. Again, it could be true. We have to allow for that possibility. But the odds are considerably less than 50%.
Yeah, agreed. Unless he was that bad of a shot where he had a sniper rifle, looked at his target, and then hit 3 of the wrong people. It's like, okay, I don't buy that.
Nah.
Ted, you are awesome, man. Thank you for this. Ted Rall, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist. You can find him with the great Manila Chan on TMI. He comes on at 10 o'clock, so he comes on immediately after the show. You have a safe and fun day, man. Thank you for this.